Well, I want to start today by reminding you of something powerful. You lack nothing. God has already placed inside of you everything you need to succeed, to rise higher, and to become all that He has created you to be. See, too often we go through life thinking, if I just had more resources, if I had their talent, if I had a better education, if I were in a different place, then I could accomplish my dreams. But let me tell you, God doesn't make mistakes. When He created you, He put in you exactly what you need for your assignment. You are not lacking. You are not behind. You are not incomplete. You are fully equipped. The enemy would love for you to believe that you're at a disadvantage, that you don't have enough, that you're missing something essential. But I want you to change that mindset today. Instead of thinking about what you don't have, start declaring, I have everything I need. I am anointed. I am favored. I am blessed. I am more than enough. Think about Moses. When God called him to lead the Israelites, he said, God, I can't do this. I don't speak well. I don't have what it takes. But God said, Moses, what's in your hand? A simple staff. And that's what God used to part the Red Sea, to perform miracles. Moses didn't need anything more. He just needed to trust that what he had was already enough. Maybe today you're thinking, if only I had more money, more connections, more talent. Know what's in your hand. What has God already placed inside of you? Instead of wishing for something else, start using what you have. When you use what's in your hand, God will bless it, multiply it, and take you further than you ever imagined. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't learn, grow, or develop your skills. Absolutely, keep growing. But don't fall into the trap of thinking you're missing something. God has already lined up the right people, the right doors, the right opportunities. The problem is never that you lack something. The problem is recognizing that what you have is already enough. When David faced Goliath, he didn't have a sword. He didn't have a shield. He just had a slingshot and 5 small stones. But what he had was enough. With just that, he took down a giant. And I want to tell you today, you may feel like you only have a little strength left, a little faith, a little opportunity. But God is saying, that's all you need. If you'll trust Him, He will take what's in your hand and use it to do something amazing. So today, shake off the thoughts of lack. Quit thinking you're missing something. You are not waiting on a blessing. You are the blessing. God has already given you what you need to fulfill your purpose. Now walk in confidence, knowing that you lack nothing. God has already equipped you with everything you need to live a successful, purposeful life. Too often we go through life believing we are missing something, whether it's a skill, a resource, or an opportunity. We compare ourselves to others and think, if only I had their talent, their connections, their background, then I could do something great. But the truth is, when God created you, He put inside of you exactly what you need to fulfill your purpose. You are not lacking, you are not behind, and you are not incomplete. You are fully equipped for the journey ahead. Look at how God works throughout the Bible. When He called Moses to lead the Israelites, Moses felt inadequate. He said, God, I can't speak well, I'm not a leader. But God didn't ask Moses to be anything more than what he already was. Instead, God asked, what's in your hand? Moses only had a simple staff, but with that staff, God performed miracles, parting the Red Sea, bringing water from a rock, and leading an entire nation to freedom. Moses didn't need anything extra. He just needed to trust that what God had given him was enough. Many times we feel like we don't have enough to take the next step. We think, I need more training. I need more experience. I need someone to open a door for me. But God never calls us without equipping us. Before He even gave you the dream, He placed inside of you the ability to fulfill it. You may not see all the pieces yet, but as you step forward in faith, what you need will be revealed. Think about David. When he went to face Goliath, King Saul tried to give him his armor and sword, but David refused. He said, I don't need that. I'm going to use what God has already given me. And what did he have? Just a slingshot and 5 small stones. It didn't seem like much, but with God's power behind it, it was more than enough to take down a giant. Sometimes what you have may seem small in your own eyes, but in God's hands, it becomes mighty. You have to start seeing yourself the way God sees you. You may not feel strong enough, but God says you are. You may not feel qualified, but God says you are chosen. The enemy will try to make you believe you're not ready, that you need more before you can step into your calling. But the truth is, God has already put inside of you everything you need. The key is to stop looking at what you think you're missing and start using what's already in your hand. You don't have to wait for the perfect conditions, the right connections, or for everything to fall into place. What you have today is enough for God to work with. If you'll step out in faith, trust Him, and believe in what He's already placed inside of you, you'll see doors open, opportunities arise, and blessings come your way. You are fully equipped and you lack nothing. The way you see your life determines the way you live it. Too often people focus on what they don't have, what's missing, or what could have been. They say things like, if only I had more money, if only I had a better education, if only I had more support, then I could do something great. But the truth is, you will never rise higher than the way you see yourself. If you have a mindset of lack, you will always feel behind, unqualified, and at a disadvantage. But if you shift your focus to abundance, if you start believing that God has already provided everything you need, you will begin to see new opportunities, doors opening, and blessings flowing into your life. The enemy's strategy is to make you feel like you're not enough, like you're missing something essential. He wants you to look at your life and see lack, so you live in frustration and discouragement. But the problem is not your situation. The problem is your perspective. If you constantly dwell on what you don't have, you will never recognize what God has already given you. When you shift your mindset from lack to abundance, you start to see that you are not waiting for a blessing, you are already blessed. Consider the story of the widow in 2 Kings 4. She was in debt and thought she had nothing. When the prophet Elisha asked what she had, she said, nothing except a small jar of oil. But that small jar was enough. When she shifted her focus from what she didn't have to what she did have, God multiplied it and filled every empty vessel she could find. The miracle was always within her reach. She just had to change her perspective. Maybe today you're looking at your life and thinking, I don't have enough resources, I don't have the right connections, I don't have the talent. But what if instead you started saying, I have everything I need. I am talented, I am favored, I am blessed. God is leading me to the right people, the right opportunities, and the right doors. When you change your words, you change your mindset. And when you change your mindset, you change your reality. There's a reason why God tells us to walk by faith and not by sight. If you look only at your circumstances, you might see limitations. But faith sees beyond the natural. Faith sees opportunities where others see obstacles. Faith says, I may not have everything in my hands yet, but I know God has already provided for me. I choose to believe in His abundance rather than dwell in lack. You don't have to live with a scarcity mindset. You don't have to keep waiting for more before you step into your calling. What you have today is enough for God to use. When you trust Him, when you start seeing abundance instead of lack, you will begin to experience favor in ways you never imagined. Shift your mindset and you'll realize you lack nothing. Your words have creative power. What you speak over your life will determine the direction you go. Too many people talk themselves out of their destiny by constantly speaking words of defeat, doubt, and negativity. They say things like, I'll never get ahead. I don't have what it takes. Nothing good ever happens to me. But when you speak words like that, you are not just describing your situation, you are shaping your future. God created the universe with His words. He said, let there be light, and light appeared. In the same way, the words you speak set the tone for your life. When you say, I am blessed, I am talented, I have what it takes, you are releasing faith. You are speaking into existence what God has already put inside of you. Your words can either open doors of opportunity or keep you stuck in a cycle of limitation. The problem is that many people speak what they feel instead of speaking what they want to see. They wake up and say, I'm so tired, I don't feel good, this is going to be a bad day. Then they wonder why they don't have any energy and why nothing seems to go their way. But what if instead you woke up and declared, today is going to be a great day. I am full of energy. I am strong, healthy, and focused. Doors are opening for me, and favor is following me wherever I go. When you speak words of faith, you activate God's power in your life. In the book of Proverbs, it says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. That means every day you have a choice. You can speak life or you can speak death. You can either talk yourself into victory or into defeat. The words you speak to yourself are even more powerful than the words others speak to you. It's not what people say about you that determines your future. It's what you say about yourself. Think about David when he faced Goliath. Everyone around him was speaking defeat. They said, David, you're too young, too small. You don't have the experience. But David didn't let their words define him. He stood before Goliath and declared, today the Lord will deliver you into my hands. He spoke victory before the battle even began. And because he declared it in faith, it came to pass. You have to start speaking victory over your life. Stop saying, I'm always struggling. I'll never get out of debt. I'll never find the right person. Start saying, I am blessed. I am highly favored. I am attracting the right opportunities. I have everything I need to succeed. When you align your words with God's promises, you will begin to see things shift in your favor. Don't let your words work against you. Speak faith, speak abundance, speak victory no matter what you're facing. Declare that you lack nothing and watch how God moves in your life. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. Too often, when difficulties arise, people see them as setbacks, obstacles, or reasons to give up. They think, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this struggle? But what if instead of seeing your challenges as something working against you, you saw them as something working for you? What if the very thing you're facing is the key to unlocking your next level? Growth never happens in comfort. If everything were always easy, you wouldn't develop strength, perseverance, or wisdom. Every great person, every successful leader, every innovator, every world changer has faced challenges that stretched them beyond what they thought they could handle. But it was those very challenges that shaped them, prepared them, and pushed them into their purpose. The obstacles you face are not meant to stop you. They are meant to refine you. Think about a seed planted in the ground. Before it can grow into a strong tree, it has to push through the dirt, break through the soil, and struggle to reach the sunlight. If the seed could talk, it might say, this is too hard, it's dark, it's uncomfortable, I don't see any progress. But what it doesn't realize is that the process is necessary for its growth. Without the struggle, there is no strength. Without resistance, there is no breakthrough. Maybe right now, you're in a season where things feel difficult. You're facing opposition at work, dealing with financial pressure, or struggling in a relationship. It's easy to think that you're stuck or that life is unfair. But what if this season is actually preparing you for something greater? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? How is this making me stronger? In the Bible, Joseph faced betrayal, false accusations, and imprisonment. It would have been easy for him to get discouraged and give up, but every hardship was actually positioning him for his destiny. Without the betrayal, he wouldn't have ended up in Egypt. Without the false accusation, he wouldn't have met the right people. Without the time in prison, he wouldn't have been placed before Pharaoh. What looked like setbacks were actually setups for his promotion. Your struggles are not a sign that you're failing. They are a sign that you are growing. The resistance you feel means you are being stretched, strengthened, and prepared for something bigger. The pressure you're facing is not meant to crush you. It's meant to refine you. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified by fire. And you are being shaped into the person you were created to be through the very challenges you are facing. Instead of running from difficulty, embrace it. See it as a tool for growth. Trust that every challenge is an opportunity for God to work in your life. Keep moving forward, knowing that nothing is wasted and that in the end, you will come out stronger, wiser, and better than before. Trusting God's plan means believing that He has already arranged the right people, resources, and opportunities for you at the right time. Too often, people live in frustration because they feel like they are missing out, falling behind, or that life isn't unfolding the way they expected. They see others getting ahead, achieving their dreams, and stepping into new blessings, and they wonder, when is it going to happen for me? Why do I feel stuck? But when you stay in agreement with God's plan, you realize that He has already gone before you, setting things in motion that you can't even see yet. Nothing in your life is a surprise to God. He already knew every obstacle you would face, every delay, and every detour. Before you were even born, He had a divine plan for your life. The problem is when things don't happen on our timeline, we start to doubt, worry, and try to force things to happen in our own strength. But when you truly trust God, you understand that if something hasn't happened yet, it's because the timing isn't right. If a door hasn't opened, it's because He has something better in store. Think about Abraham. God promised him that he would be the father of many nations, but years passed and he still didn't have a child. He and Sarah became impatient and took matters into their own hands, trying to force the promise to come to pass. But their impatience only led to frustration and unnecessary hardship. Eventually, when the time was right, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, the son of promise. If they had just trusted God's timing, they would have saved themselves years of worry. Maybe right now, you're waiting for a breakthrough. You're praying for a promotion, a new opportunity, or a dream to come to pass. It's easy to get discouraged when it feels like nothing is happening. But just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God isn't working behind the scenes. He is aligning the right people, orchestrating the right events, and preparing you for what He has in store. But if you stay in faith and don't try to force things, you will see everything fall into place at the right time. Sometimes God will even close doors to protect you. You may not understand why a certain opportunity didn't work out, why a relationship ended, or why you were passed up for something you really wanted. But if you could see what God sees, you would know that He is leading you to something far greater. He is not withholding good things from you. He is preparing the best for you. Instead of stressing over the future, choose to stay in agreement with God's plan. Declare, God, I trust You. I know that what You have for me is good, and it will come in Your perfect timing. When you live with that kind of faith, you can walk in peace, knowing that everything is already arranged for your success. Stay patient, stay faithful, and watch how God brings His plan to pass in ways that will exceed your expectations. Gratitude is the key to unlocking joy, peace, and contentment in your life. Too often people focus on what they don't have, what's not working, or what they wish were different. They wake up thinking about their problems, their struggles, and everything they feel is missing. But when you shift your perspective and start focusing on what you do have, everything begins to change. Gratitude isn't about having perfect circumstances. It's about choosing to see the good in every situation. It's easy to be thankful when everything is going your way. When the promotion comes, when the relationship is thriving, when the doors are opening. But true gratitude is when you can still say thank you, even when things aren't perfect. When you can thank God even in the middle of the storm. You are demonstrating faith. You are saying, God, I may not see the whole picture, but I trust You. I know You are working all things for my good. In the Bible, Paul wrote, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you. Notice, he didn't say give thanks for all circumstances. He said give thanks in all circumstances. That means even when life isn't going the way you planned, you can still find something to be grateful for. You can still say, Lord, thank You for waking me up today. Thank You for the strength to get through this. Thank You for the people You've placed in my life. Thank You that even though I may not see it yet, I know You are leading me to something greater. Gratitude is a powerful force because it shifts your focus. When you start thanking God for what you have, you stop dwelling on what you lack. Instead of thinking, I don't have enough, you start saying, I have more than enough. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, you start seeing what's right. And when you live with a heart of gratitude, you invite more blessings into your life. Think about the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. When He was handed 5 loaves and 2 fish, He didn't complain about how little it was. He didn't say, this isn't enough. No, the Bible says He gave thanks, and then the miracle happened. The food was multiplied and everyone was fed. The principle is the same for us. When we give thanks, even for the little we have, God has a way of multiplying it and turning it into more than enough. No matter where you are in life, there is always something to be grateful for. Maybe you're waiting for a breakthrough, believing for a dream to come to pass. Instead of complaining about how long it's taking, start thanking God in advance. Thank Him for what He's already done and thank Him for what He's about to do. When you cultivate an attitude of gratitude, you'll not only feel more joy and peace, but you'll also see more of God's goodness show up in your life. Gratitude unlocks blessings, shifts your perspective, and reminds you that you lack nothing. You lack nothing. Everything you need to live a victorious, purposeful, and abundant life is already within you. God has equipped you with the right gifts, the right resources, and the right opportunities. Now it's up to you to believe it, speak it, and walk in it. Stop looking at what you think is missing and start recognizing the greatness that is already in you. Shift your mindset from lack to abundance, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Speak words of faith and victory over your life, trusting that God's timing is perfect. And above all, live with a heart of gratitude, knowing that what you have today is enough for God to use and multiply. As you step forward in faith, believing that you are complete, prepared, and empowered, you will see doors open, blessings flow, and opportunities unfold in ways you never imagined. Walk in confidence, knowing that you are fully equipped, highly favored, and lacking nothing.